Hi, I'm Janelle Evans, and I specialize in helping people make major transitions at midlife. And I want to share my insights with you about how you can begin to move from the known to what's possible for you in your life. I was talking with a client yesterday, and she was sharing with me, she's trying to make some big changes in her life, that, she's stuck in some parts of her life. And one of those parts is really trying to move forward from being married to being divorced now for 2 years. But it's just been a real challenge to move in away from her ex and into a place where she can really begin to develop new healthy relationships, romantic relationships in her future. And she was frustrated because she said, I know I don't want to be with this guy. That's not the issue, but he's familiar. And I hear so many people say that, it's like that comfort zone thing. He's familiar. So her actual words were, he's the devil that she knows is more comfortable than going out with men that she's just getting to know, because that's really limiting her ability to find love again. And she knows that having that kind of mindset is really blocking her from having more joy and fulfillment and love in her life. So as we talked, she started to share more and more. And she said, I'm ready. I'm ready to move from what I know to what's possible for me, to a place, again, where she can really have a healthy romantic relationship. But her experience is not unusual. People can be ready, but they're not able to take action. So the first step towards being able to make big changes is certainly being aware of what's going on in your life, what's working, what's not working, and trying to figure out what is it that you want in your life to be different, actually. So I know so many people from doing this kind of work that want to make changes, but they can't seem to move the needle towards the steps that they need to take to make things actually happen. They complain, it's too hard. I'm too old to learn something like that, some technical thing. Or, I just don't know how I'd ever be successful doing something really different from what I've always done. They don't really have the confidence. Or they say, you know what, it's just too scary. I'd rather stay with what I know than try something new and fail. So, hey, that I understand, people's comfort zones for sure, but, those are all just such negative, limiting beliefs that hold us back from living the life that we really want, right? So, they keep us from taking the first step even towards really, putting a stake in the ground, deciding on the changes we want to make, and then following through on the work. That's all in the transitions of what we need to do to make the change successful. They rob us, those beliefs, those negative beliefs rob us of new experiences, new relationships that can be, really wonderful. Rewarding careers can be robbed, fulfilling jobs, even blissful retirements. So, there's a lot of downside if we keep those limiting beliefs front and center. So I believe if you want to change your life, you can. And I encourage that. Yes, you may need some new skills and some new tools and support, but before any of those things, you really have to commit to change and have the right mindset that is going to keep you motivated to do the work necessary to implement the change. So that's what's going to move you towards action. So what if right now was the perfect time for you, let's say, to make that big change in your life that you've been wanting to make, but you've been postponing it? What if right now was the perfect time to go get a new job, to change your career, to start a new business? Businesses are starting right now during COVID-19, of course. Move to where you've always wanted to live. Leave an unhealthy relationship. Up-level your finances, or redefine your identity as an empty nester or a newly minted retiree. While we may not always feel ready to move forward with changes, the truth is every day we delay is a day we don't have to experience the things that are possible for us. We'll never get that time back. We just keep postponing. And the sooner we take action, the sooner we get to experience what's possible for ourselves. So if we delay a month, 6 months, a year can go by, and we're still stuck, like my client I talked about a few moments ago. That can unfortunately make us feel very sad, maybe even depressed, maybe, still struggling in an unhappy marriage or a boring job, or something that just drains your energy, or you're lost on your purpose in life, right? And a lot of us, are concerned, like, what is going to happen to our career with the impacts of COVID-19 that's affected every industry and business that we know, in every profession. Will I be needed? Am I still relevant when we go back, when the majority of people who are working go back to the workplace? Obviously some have, but there's still a lot of clients that I work with where they're all still working from home and have no plans to go back to be fully operational in buildings coexisting until sometime in mid to late 2021. So I have a client right now who's facing that exact situation. And she's being so proactive in making a plan to move herself forward and to see what's possible. She knows, because of the impacts of the virus, that her role, which she's very senior, she's had a super successful career for over 25 years, but she can see that because of the changes that have resulted from new ways of working, her role is very much tied into how people operate in the organization. She knows that she's got to prepare now so that she can really be able to enjoy some new possibility in her future. She may need to change careers, and she may need to change jobs. She may need to get some new skills in her toolkit. But she's doing everything she can now to open up herself to all kinds of possibilities. So when the time comes, when the reality is here, where she has to really implement a change, she will be prepared. She will be prepared. And taking action proactively just is so empowering for us. We no longer feel stuck. It lessens our fear. But not taking action keeps all those negative feelings alive, and again, fuels those limiting beliefs that we tell ourselves. Deciding to make changes and undergo the transitions that come with all big changes in life do not have to feel scary and difficult. So what if you shifted your mindset from staying with what you know to tipping your toes into what's possible for you? What if you trusted yourself to get out of your comfort zone and, without spending money and without making a big change quite yet, and wasting time, maybe going in the wrong direction? For example, let's say that maybe you're thinking about retirement, but the idea of not having structure and feeling needed or relevant is really scary for you. What if you explored life beyond work before you actually left your position? Sometimes just to get us started towards what's possible for ourselves, we just need a different frame, a different lens, a different way of looking at things so that we're more comfortable taking smaller steps that helps build that mindset that we need to actually implement all of the transitions that come with our decision to make change. So I want to share with you a few ideas for you to consider that will actually help you get started in moving towards what's possible, to actually take some small steps towards change. And they're like 5 things, and I'm going to share them with you now. And the first one starts with an A. Ask yourself different questions to help unlock what's going on in your life. Maybe you're feeling overwhelmed. There's just so many things that you want to change. But if you start asking better questions, you'll probably come up with better ideas for what those things really are, and you'll get a clearer picture. You want to go wide with questions, right? Not narrow and focus on a particular problem. So broaden your lens by asking broader questions. Stretch beyond what might be obvious questions that you would answer for yourself. Just some real reflective time, introspection about your life. If you don't have any questions, I offer to you for free on my website at JenelleEvans.com, JenellEvans.com. I created a document there. You can download it, and it has 21 questions that can change your life. And they're just great, thought-provoking. Some are broad, most of them are broad questions that will get you started. All right, the second concept starts with an S, seek different perspectives. And what I mean by this is that, you know, ask people that you trust, people that you know that are going to have your best interests at heart, right? Maybe you can share with them something you're considering doing, whether it's a career change, retirement, whatever it is. And listen to what they say, even if they have a very different perspective from you. You get to decide what you do, but just open up your ears to hearing different viewpoints about some things that you're sharing with them. I think that's just so healthy, because in that listening tour, you will probably hear something really different than you expected, and it could open up a whole new series of things for you to explore, ideas, and help you think of something that never crossed your mind because you didn't think of it. So different options may surface, and that will open you up to possibilities that maybe you never even imagined. All right, the third thing I want to share with you starts with an S also. See your life as a system. You know, if I asked you to list all the different parts of your life, you would probably have 8 to 10 things, from your family, your job, if you're still working, your social world, your finances, your spiritual life, your community service, whatever it is, right? And so change in one area can really have an impact on multiple areas of your life. And it's just really smart to kind of imagine the positive and the negative impacts of a change that maybe you're considering, but you haven't been able to pull to launch it yet, right? So in that situation, I would say, like, you know, for example, if you said, I'm going to change my career, how would that impact your marriage? Or how would that impact your ability to help your now elderly parents? So if you just imagine different scenarios, it can really help you see sort of the impacts, both positive and negative, of making that kind of decision, right? Without actually doing anything. So it's a little simulations in your mind. Okay, now the next one I want to share with you starts with an E. Evaluate all of the data that you've collected in the first 3 ideas that I've shared with you. And those are, again, just to recap, ask yourself different questions, seek different perspectives, and see your life as a system of many parts. So in this one, that you've got some data now, and that's going to be, you know, really great that you've started the process of deciding, trying to figure out what is the one thing you want to change. And what I suggest here to my clients is never have more than 1 or 2 things, if you can help it, that you're trying to change at once, because people take on too much and they get overwhelmed and they get demotivated, and then nothing changes. They give up. So if you can narrow your focus after going wide in those first 3 ideas that I shared with you, then you can decide, what is the number one thing that I need to focus on now that is really going to enhance my life, that is going to open up what is possible for me that I never could have envisioned, but it's something now that I know I want, and it's going to up-level my life in so many ways. Okay, the last concept I want to share with you starts with a T. Try new ideas in small ways. And for example, if you want to learn more about a new industry or some kind of new career opportunity, you don't have to stop working to do that, right? There are ways that you can get behind the curtain and see what really goes on in a particular industry. Let's say, it's just one example. You could volunteer to be part of an association. To get an inside scoop of really what the trends are in this industry, if you're thinking about making a shift. So there are things like that you can do. Or maybe you want to go work for a nonprofit. You could volunteer and get on a committee and really get to see what's going on inside the organization. So those types of strategies can really give you more information and perspective and experiences in the real world of what might be the next big change for you, right? Even subscribing to newsletters, listening to podcasts all about new areas that you want to explore, you can do all of that before deciding and really, implementing a plan that's going to get you to where you want to go. So it's just a lot of proactive, critical thinking. This is what I'm talking about here. So the first letter of the list of everything I just shared with you creates the acronym ASSET. An asset is defined as a useful or valuable thing. So my intention in sharing this with you is that I hope it will encourage you to begin to think proactively, to take some small steps towards, kind of letting go what you know and moving you towards what's possible for you in your life. So, when facing new challenges, we can often default to our comfort zone. But, why not get started and move yourself towards what's possible in your life right now? So I've given you some things to consider, and I'll end with a quote by Tim Fargo, who's an American author. Who you are tomorrow begins with what you do today. Thank you.